I am so glad to see you. So it is Thursday at 4 o'clock, and that means you guys came to visit me, and I'm so happy to have you. If you are new to Tori Bell, thank you so much for coming by. We're so excited to have you. And if you're an affiliate, stick with us after our pro tip because we will have a bunch of fun affiliate stuff for you guys. And also, if you're not an affiliate, you can just be a fly on the wall. And it's always kind of fun to see what's going on behind the scenes. All right, you guys, today I become J-Lo. I've always wanted to be J-Lo. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to sing after this, but we are going to get our J-Lo on. Okay, are you ready? We're going to go right to the pro tip. First, let's look at some pictures of J-Lo. Ready? Let's see them. All right, so we have a number of different pictures here. These are all about how old she is now. She's a couple years older than I am. So the first one, you can see she looks a little bit younger because she's very retouched. And the next one over, that's the one we're actually going to base our look on. The next one after that, and the three after it on the bottom, that's what she looks like unretouched. So I'm not going to be retouched, so I just want to get a little reality going here. So when you look at J-Lo and you see that first person, what's under that makeup is that third, fourth, fifth, and sixth person. And she looks beautiful for being about 50 years old, but she's about 50 years old. And so I want to make sure that when we do our comparisons before and after, we're not just going to do that super retouched one or the one next to it, that the look we're going for. I'm going to do before and after pictures after the live in every one of these poses so we can really get an idea of, no matter what age you are, what it means to like really get the look someone else is doing. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to check out a couple of really close-ups. All right, so we have a side-by-side. I just want us to get super familiar with her face, right? All right, so if you look at her face, what you want to do is we want to look at your face or my face, and we want to say, what is the difference? Like, where's her face different than my face? So her lips are a little bigger than my lips, so I'll want to enlarge them a little bit. And her nose is a different shape than my nose. She has a cute little ball on the end of her nose, where mine is much more square. And her nose is a little bit wider at the middle of the bridge and skinnier at the top, where mine is more straight up and down. So that's a big difference. We have reasonably similarly shaped eyes and eyebrows, but hers are a little flatter than mine. Reasonably similar enough foreheads. Mine is more like concave than hers, so we'll fix that with some highlighter. And our jawlines are a little different. Her jawline's more triangular than my jawline, particularly in the second picture when you can really see her naturally. I'd say we have about the same like under eye wrinkles and that kind of thing, so that shouldn't be too hard to fake. And she definitely has more cheekbone than I have. Okay, so now we know what we're looking for. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with contouring, because that's kind of the basis of everything. So we have a little bottom picture that we're just going to leave up so that you guys can see what this look is that we're going for. All right, so this look is going to be like, well, you can see it. It's going to be a smoky eye with an inner lighter spot. She's got pretty heavy brows. She has quite a bit of contour here and here and here. Her lips have definitely been enlarged, but not in the way you would think. I think that they're doing it that way with the foundation, where you do the darker foundation around your lips to really get that shadow. So, and she definitely has a lot of contour under here. All right, let's do it. All right, so first I'm going to start with my liquid foundation. So we're going to use our Elements foundation. All right, so I've got, this is 180. I think that might be a bit much. We tried 150 before. I'm thinking 170. So we're going to take our 170. We always shake it. And we're going to put a little bit. I already have my just basic foundation on, just one color 130, just as a base. All right, so I'm going to take my round brushy cleanie. I'm going to take the lid, and I'm going to put a little Element foundation in the lid. All right, so you guys, if you don't know, we have an amazing new product. Voila. So this is a wonderful little guy that I invented. And what this is it is a contour stamp. So what you do is you put the color on it, and then you literally stamp it on your face, and it is already in the exact perfect shape for your face. All right, so first we're going to start with the contour. And I'll do it up here so you can see. So I'm going to get that in here. It's the nice thing about this little, if you happen to have the brushy cleanie, it makes the perfect little spot. This is the brushy cleanie for your contour sponge. All right, so let's take a look at her. All right, so she's definitely very triangular. So this is really just a matter of looking at a picture and saying, where is it dark and what's that shape? So if you look at it, if you look at her cheek, you see a triangle, right? Her cheek, you see a triangle. So that's what we're gonna do. And take this, see it's a triangle, and right down like that. And it doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to blend it. And this is pretty dark because she's got pretty dark contour going on. All right, so I'm gonna do all the parts that I wanna do with this side, and then I'll switch to the other side. So let's see here. I'm gonna go, how does she do her forehead? Oh, hers is upside down. So I'm gonna put the smaller part on the top of my forehead because you can see the triangle on her forehead goes small to large. So small to large, there we go. Put a little bit more, is this one I use? 170, yeah. All right, so then matchy matchy. And triangle. And her triangle is this direction, out there. I think she actually does a little higher. So what you can do is if you want a little higher contour, just do it twice. There's plenty on there. All right, so her nose. She has a cute little ball on the end of her nose. So I'm just gonna use this little corner and I'm gonna go like that, because that'll make a little ball on the end of my nose once I blend it. And then you can also see that she contours all the way up to her brows. So we're going to take the edge of our sponge, starting with the small to the large. We're gonna go right up here and just use the very edge. There we go, and then use the other side. This is just the easiest thing. Okay, so now we still have, although you can't see much of it, we still have quite a bit of product left on our sponge. So we're gonna do the larger side to the smaller side. Oh, I'm gonna get on the right side. Underneath here, see? And then we're gonna go underneath here. And there we go. Underneath here. And you can just stamp that out a little bit. There we go. And use up that product. All right, so take a good look at her. She also has quite a bit of shadow right here. Nope, wrong side. So put a little stamp right there. So basically we're just stamping it on wherever is convenient. All right, so first I'm going to use my blending brush right here, and I'm gonna blend all the dark, and then I'm gonna go back in and do the light. So we just go in little circles. It's the easiest thing. Circles blend, and swiping moves product. So you go in circles to blend, and if you want to move it down here a little, then you swipe. Just like that. So lots of blending. When in doubt, blend more. So just do that. Really, like you see, she's got triangle of dark on her face. Just blend a triangle. I feel like people make it a little bit more complicated than it is. Once you know the shape, it's not such a big deal. Now, when you're trying to look like somebody else, you have to remember, you also want to look at the shadows on their face, not just their makeup, because you're going to fake those shadows with your makeup, like I did across my nose. And also remember, it always looks weird to begin with, so don't worry if it's not perfect right off the bat. This is just the first step. Now, if I were to blend across my nose right now with this large of a brush, my whole nose would turn brown. So we're going to switch. Let's do right here first. There we go. And then I'm going to grab a smaller brush. We have a very similar brush. It's actually an eyeshadow brush, but you can use any brush for anything. Whatever works is the right brush. So I'm going to use my brushy cleanie and get that nice and tidy. I want to put eyeshadow there. And then I'm going to just do the exact same thing right there. The idea is to basically make a light ball on the end of my nose, because she's got that cute little ball on the end of her nose. All right, so blending, blending, blending. All right, then we're going to go back in with the light. We're going to blend this whole thing more in a bit, so it doesn't have to be perfect right now. Okay, light color, let's go. We're going to go real light. Let's go with 10. Where's my 10? I know it's here somewhere. All right, we're going to go really light. 10. So this is a concealer. So same thing, we're going to put a little bit of this in our tray. There you go. There you go. All right, take our brushy cleanie. We're going to clean off the little triangle end just to make sure there's nothing dark on the corners. Put it in our tray with a nice new light color. All right. Tap, tap, tap. There we go. Doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to blend it. All right, let's look at the shape of her forehead. So the highlight is definitely down here more. There we go. Under her eyes, she definitely has highlighter. Now her chin, she only does this part. So we're going to do a little lower. I think that's about all she's got going, except for right down her nose. And the highlight. So we take this end. We're going to go right like that and just stamp that little area of our face. All right, so I'm going to start with my nose. I'm going to go back into this small brush, clean it off because it had a darker color in it. I'm just going to go like this. Little tiny circles because I don't want to blend it too much into the other side. I'm going to go into my larger brush. Same thing, give it a good little clean. And then circles. Just want to blend that all together. It's funny how I can already definitely see a really big difference. Okay, under my eyes. And you don't want to push hard. Lightly is better. So see, I'm moving product back and forth here, and now I'm doing circles. There. And chin. And you know what I just realized I forgot to do? Under my chin. So let's blend that too right now. I'm gonna wipe that off. And then we're just gonna go straight under here. You can feel that bone. If you have a little extra, like I do, a little extra gel right there, what you wanna do is you just want to go right up onto it to make that look like part of the shadow that's underneath. Just like that. So I'm moving the product a little and then circles. And we'll do down a little further on our neck with powder. So don't worry about that being a perfect blend. We'll get that in a bit. I'm not going to leave it crazy. All right, first coat, done. All right, so let's take another look at her face, really close up. One thing I'm really noticing about her face is no matter how much highlight she's putting on her face, you can still see that her nose has a little bit of roundness in the middle to it. So we really want to fake that because we don't just want to have makeup like JLo, we're actually trying to look like JLo. So let's do just a little bit of that. So I'm going to take this brush, and the way to do that is to have the lighter kind of go in that same circle. If you look at her face, you'll see that circle. There we go, right there. We're going to use our 120. We'll put just a little in here. I'm just going to go a little brush. Use any small brush you want. I'm using the same one we used before. And I'm going to go like this and out like this. Now remember, when you're just doing your own makeup, you don't need to do all this. We're being really, really specific because we're trying to look like a different person. So we'll blend that in. And then she also has she has a cute little end to her nose that I do not own. So I have to put it there. So we're going to put that highlight on the end of my nose. I'm going to lift this up just a little bit so that I can blend this in. And I'm going to put some highlighter over it in our next coat. So these kinds of things, like if you're going to do something like this is not a one coat deal, you guys. You're not going to just throw on a little makeup and be done. This is going to take a little while. This is kind of upper level, right? I have to go back, fix some little stuff. There we go. So that's good for now. Getting closer, and I'll tone this right here down a little bit in a minute. All right, so we have the basics on. Now we're going to go into our powders. All right, so I'm going to wipe off my awesome sponge. There we go. Just wipe off all the sides that we used. All right, so now I have my palette. Voila. All my fun colors. All right, so I'm going to go into my 165, which is a bronzing and contouring color. And I'm just going to tap, 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 tap. Boom. Easy. I'm going to go just ever so slightly higher because you can see how her she's not really wearing blush, she's wearing more of a bronzer that's up just above her contour. So we're going to go just a little higher than we went before. See how it's a subtle difference. It's a little redder, and when we blend it out, you'll see even more so. Okay, and then she has the same thing on her forehead. So we're going to go, I always want to do it upside down with her. So we're going to go like that, just like that. Does she have it anywhere else? Let's look. Nope, I think that's about it. Okay, so we're going to do the other side. Tap, 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 tap. Tap. Boom. And just a little above where we went before. So this is just on your cheekbone instead of under it. Okay. Good. Now I'm going to use this little bottom part. Same thing, I'm going to do that one little spot on my nose. And I'm also going to do these two little bones. You see how she doesn't have, she's soft right there and I'm pointier? So I'm just going to go right over them. We'll blend it in a minute. There we are. And then we'll also do this little part. What's left on there. There we go. And we will blend again. So I'm saying there's levels. You don't have to be like, oh my gosh, I can't do it. I did one thing and it didn't work. Don't worry about it. This is going to take you a few levels. I guarantee you the person who does JLo's makeup probably spends an hour and a half to 2 hours doing her makeup. We're going to do it in like 25 minutes. We've already got it beat. So no worries. I think that's something that people forget. People who are doing these women's makeup, they're spending hours in the makeup chair. Hours. All right, so we're just copying that line. A little bronzing. There we go. A little bit more blending here. Okay, now then, take my fun sponge, beauty blender sponge, and so I have, like, you guys, literally every palette we've ever made in my hand. So what we want is, I'm thinking out of Space Out, she looks like she's wearing a very beige colored highlighter, especially on her nose. The noses are a big deal. It's the middle of your face. So if you're going to look like somebody, you got to get their nose right. So I'm going to take this little end. Fits perfectly into our pressed pigments like that. I'm going to do right in the middle. And I'm just going to get right in the middle of my nose. Boom. All right. So although you can't see it in all these pictures as well, but she definitely is usually highlighted right across there. We're going to blend it, don't worry. There we go. All right, so let's give that a little blend. Where is there it is. Okay. Give it a little blend. So I'll use this one for my cheek. Don't want to overdo it. You don't want to blend this too much because you don't want to blend it in so much that you lose the shine. There we go. And then we're going to use the smaller brush. This is like blending day. It's all the blending. Okay, give that a little blend in right there. This right here. We're getting there. All right, so we're going to move on to lips. I'm going to do something different. We tried this once before and it wasn't great, I'll be honest. But looking at this picture, I think we can do better. And I'm going to draw this around the outside of my lips. We're going to use our angle brush. And I'm going to use the angle brush as if it were like a lip liner. Every time I look at these pictures, what I'm really seeing is the outer lips. It's not lipstick, it's not lip liner. It's foundation. I mean, I can tell it's foundation. So this has like been all 170. Which kind of makes sense because if you're contouring, it does make sense that you would use the same colors. So there we go. All right, on our angle brush. And I'm going to use this like a lip liner. We're going to blend it out. I feel like it's still really dark though. I think it's still too dark. Let's Kleenex. Is there Kleenex? Oh, you can get Kleenex box feet. Sniff, sniff. Right. Okay. Let's try this one more time. Where's the 150? All right. We're going to try this with 150. Let's see. It's all about experimenting. It doesn't have to be right the first time. You can always wipe it off. This is going to be a much better choice. All right, back to our angle brush. Clean it off because we just got a bunch of darker colors in it. Okay. Voila. All right, just on the outside of our lips. Yeah, I think this is better. And if it's not dark enough, I can always darken it up a little. Okay. And let's see. Same with the lower lip. I don't think her real lips are all that big, but she goes pretty far down here. So, like, under. So I'm in a pretty good size shadow right there. And I'm also, I think I'm gonna go into the 170. I'm gonna mix my 170 and my 150 because that's what's handy, but otherwise known as 160. And I'm gonna go just a little more. As you can see, she's a little darker in certain spots. Like that, and right here. All right, I'll take the smaller blending brush and just little circles. This is such an interesting new phenomenon. But kind of doing this like, it's sort of a shadow and it's sort of a lip liner. I'm not sure how I feel about it, to be honest. And also I'm not quite sure what I'm doing with it, so I'm like, well, let's just try. Which, by the way, is totally fine. That's like the whole idea. It's makeup. You're just playing. All right. Now I feel like once I get the rest of my makeup on, this is going to make more sense. Okay. Now then, let's go back. So this is a fun little brush that we had in our Christmas kit. So we're going to grab this little guy. And you can use any small foundation brush. That's what this is. And I'm going to go back into my, the very light color I used. And I'm going to do just a little right here. And right here. Because I feel like it needs to be like more delineated. And right here. It's like her corners blend more. I know I keep saying it, but it's really just a matter of looking at her and being like, what is different than me? Okay, where's the difference? And I think it's right here. There you go. Alrighty then. Now, actual lips. All right, so I'm going to take my Blush Ignite. I'm going to actually put it on first, and then I'm going to put my Bare over it. All right, so Blush Ignite. JLo has famously glossy lips. So we're going to really put this on. If I were to just put it on like this and just leave it, it's not going to give that delineation that a lipstick is going to give us. So that's why we're going to use Bare with it to really opacify it. So make it solid. And I'll put a lot on. Because that's how she rolls. And also it's very tingly. So that's fun. All right. Bare. Okay, so I'm actually going to clean off my brush. Where did it? There we go. I'm actually going to clean this off and use my little angle brush on my Bare because I don't want to put it just straight on. So there we go. And if you're doing makeup artistry for somebody else, you would do this too, but this brush would be disposable, of course. All right, so I'm going to go right over it. I don't want too much on here because her lipstick looks like it's pretty much natural and transparent and just glossy. So we don't want to go too far. So. Let's see. Sound effects, very important. I think we're actually getting there. I think it looks weird, but I also think it looks weird on her, to be perfectly honest. All right. Her bottom looks pretty big down here, so we're going to go down a little further than real. So I'm going to go outside my lip line. I think. I still think it's kind of weird, but I also think it's weird on her. I'm going to, let's clean this guy off. I think I am going to go in up above it a little bit and make it less blendy. So this like seems more like a lip liner than like blended foundation. So the actual color I have on my foundation is 130. So I'm going to put a little bit of that. As you can see, if you don't have a brushy cleaning thingy, this little tray here, that lid, so handy. It's like my paint, my little paint palette. All right, so I'm gonna put a little on my brush, not very much. I'm gonna wipe some off. I'm just gonna go, let me stare at her. I'm gonna go just here. And just outside that line. And down a little. And normally I would use my fingers, but I'll be good and I'll use a brush to blend. A little blend, any little brush will do. What do we think? I think it's better. We'll work on it a little bit more in a minute though, for sure. All right, let's do the big thing, the eyeshadow. All right, so she has a lot of black and a lot of brown on, and she definitely has a very pinky kind of a highlight, which is awesome because our new colors from our Makeup Fix are like perfect match for that. So this is called Delicate, and it's 2 pink pigments. We call them pigments because you can use them anywhere on your body. You can be on your eyes or your lips or your cheeks or anywhere you want to put them. So we don't really call them eyeshadow or blush. And we're going to, we'll add a little blush here, but we're going to use this pink pigment here. It's pretty delicate for the upper part of the shadow and the inner corner. Normally I do dark first, but I think I'm actually going to start with this and blend into it just because she has it on super heavily. I'm actually using my unicorn brush, which is the same as the small blending brush. Here we go, this guy in our brush kit. All right, so into the Delicate I go. And she's got a lot on, so I'm going for it. I'm going to pat this on right under my eyebrow so I get it nice and thick. Oh yeah, this is like the perfect color for that. You guys see that? There we go. Get right in there. Other eye. There we go. Don't worry, I'll do my eyebrows soon. And then I'm going to go right into this corner. She definitely has that corner done. Like that. And then she has an interesting spot where she's got a light mid-eye. And that opens your eye up. So it makes sense she would do that. So I happen to be wearing bold lashes today. So I'm just going to double stack them with a different pair to look more like her. But, by the way, you can have your lashes on and then do your eyeshadow if you want to. All right, so I think we're pretty good right there. Now, I think that this color would also be really good like right here because she's got a lot of shimmer right there. So I'm going to take my blush brush. It's a little angled brush. I'm just going to go right into that. There we go. Don't want too much. I'm going to go right. You see she's got it right here. I'm just going to go right there. Same thing, other side. Just lightly. Just a touch. All right. Now then. Next thing. Let's see here. I'm looking at her picture. All right. She definitely has very smoky eyes. So I'm going to go with my large brush. Same shape one as that we were just using to blend our smaller areas of foundation. Get a good clean. The by far darkest black that we have is in the 24K palette, the black gold. This is such a dark black. If you ever want a smoky eye and you want a real black rim, that's your guy right there. You need the 24K. So actually, I'm afraid of 24K to a certain extent. So I already was like, yeah, no, I'm not using this brush. It's too big for 24K. I'm gonna use a smaller brush. So I'm going to go into our smaller, like medium-sized one. I'll just wash this guy off because I'm like, yeah, that's not enough control for 24K black gold. All right, here we go. Now, can I say to you 1,000 times, this is the most pigmented black you'll ever see. Don't just stick it on your face, blow it off. You'll be happy you did. Okay, now, she has a lot of black on the outer corner, and we're not going to swoop, we're gonna pat. Can you guys see how incredibly black that is? Just those little pats, it's crazy. And we're also gonna do just that little corner underneath, very gently, because again, tons of pigment. There we go, don't worry, we're gonna blend it. Don't freak out. Other side. Just get that corner. Boom. And under. The other good reason to blow it off a little bit is just so it doesn't, you don't end up with any dust down your face that you have to wash off later. Make those match. No, I'm not even cleaning my brush off because this is so dark. I'm just gonna keep using it as it gets lighter so that I get the effect I'm looking for without having to keep going back in, and I don't risk it being too dark because this is just so pigmented. So now you can see she has her whole crease darkened. So I'm just gonna go back in, and this time I'm swooping. And she comes down, she's got a little darker spot here. We're gonna blend. Same thing here. I keep saying, don't worry, we're gonna blend. Don't freak out. It's gonna be fine. Match those up. There we go. All right. Now it's definitely looking more like her. So now I'm gonna use the blending brush. See, gonna blend, told you. Clean it off, this one's clean, but I'm gonna clean it off just in case, always a good habit. And I'm going to circularly go under my whole eye. So start right in that corner. You can see she has a very big, and I'm gonna go back and forth. She has a very big shadow going here. So we want to kind of mimic that. And then same, we're gonna blend in circles up into our delicate pink. There we go. Round it, just into the little corners. There we go. Make sure you get that corner really well. Other eye. Back and forth to move the product, and then circles. Just go right into the edges of that delicate pink. Blend them together. Circle, circle, circles. There we go, like that. Okay, so you know, most people when they do a smoky eye, it kind of comes up like this, but hers doesn't. Hers really does just the shape of her eye. So we're gonna keep it like that. But one thing that she has that I definitely don't have is her waterline done and her tight line. So the top under part of her eye is her tight line, and the bottom inside of her lid is her waterline. So we're gonna do those. So we're gonna use the Works for that. The Works is awesome. It is super smudge proof, waterproof. It is perfect for your tight line and your waterline. And it comes with a handy dandy brush, which is perfect for it. All right, so I'm going into black here. Put that over. Okay, I'm gonna use my black, put that on my brush. And I think I'll do my waterline first on this side. So gently, always gently, pull your eye down and just tap that black on there. Going back and forth does not work. You do not want to do this. It won't work. It'll just smoosh it and it'll just get like a weird line. So you just want to tap. I haven't, this again, the Works is very, very pigmented also. I haven't changed or gotten any more on there. You can see it did the whole eye. So we're going to do a little teeny bit more on for the other eye. I always just think more pigment is better, but it also means we need a little bit different methodology. We can't just rub stuff all over if you've got a lot of pigment like we're used to doing, because we usually have stuff that's not very well made. Okay, now that always makes a huge difference. Now you can see on the inside of her eye, she goes all the way around her waterline. So I'm also going to go right up here and right there into this corner. Boom. That is my least favorite part to do, by the way. Always makes me feel weird. All right. It's like just an odd spot for anything to touch. Poking at my bold lashes over here. I'll fix that little spot in a sec. All right, so there we go. Now we're going to do our tight line. When you do your tight line, you're going to very gently, and I probably should have done this first, honestly. Very gently pull up. See how my it flips up? And put a little color on there. Little line right up to your lashes. I also call this the crazy line. Oh, makes me want to blank, which is fine. Everybody feels like that. Don't worry about it. So I call it my crazy line because if you're like walking around like this, everybody can see the top of your eyes. It looks crazy. So when you cover that up, you don't see that lighter part and you look less crazy. So this is what we call covering our crazy. That, I don't know if you can see that from your angle, but I'm just very gently. That's the worst part right there. I don't know what it is about that inner corner. It is just always so sensitive. Okay, so looking at her and looking at me, obviously I need to do my eyebrows, but she definitely has a lot more color under her eyes still. But I don't think it's as dark as the black that she has everywhere else. So we're going to go into our, I don't think it looks like it's at all shimmery. So let's go into our flat earth in the chestnut. Whoop, whoop, that's an empty flat earth because I put it here. This is what flat earth looks like, but it's in my palette, so that's fine. Here we go. It's going to be that guy right there. That's chestnut. Handy thing about the palettes is you can take whatever colors you love and stick them in your palette so you have everything handy all the time, which is what I did. All right, so I'm going to go back to my blending brush. I think that this little blending brush is like the perfect brush for doing that smoky, smoked out under eyeliner look. All right, brushy cleaning. And we also have this kind of brushy cleaning, by the way, you guys. So this is the one that goes in your palette, and then this is the one that you just have single. And you can also use this guy as your palette with your concealers and whatnot, like I'm using this tray for. So these are double duty. If you're going to use this one, I would rinse it when you're done. This one doesn't matter. All right, here we go. Into the chestnut we go. Give it a little blow. Anytime you do anything under your eyes, it's better to blow it off and do more coats than try to get it all on at once because it's just a more difficult area because your cheeks there and everything. So when in doubt, layers. I honestly think the biggest mistake people make is just being too aggressive with their makeup and trying to do it all at once. There we go. I think that definitely helped. You want to get right down in there. Isn't it crazy how different a person looks when they put all this makeup on? It's like, I just look already so different. It's been like 15 minutes, if that. All right. Okay, so we're going to stick with this brush. I'm going to go back into this brown because also right around here, you can see she has definitely more contour and more brown. So I'm just going to, little circles, blend right in to that delicate color. And add some brown in there. I think it needs a little bit more. She's got quite a bit. Okay. On this eye. Yeah, this eye definitely needs it because that pink was pinky delicate is over there a little bit too far, I think. I think that's better. Definitely. You can see that kind of swoosh. And once I get my eyebrows done, that'll make a big difference because she has much bigger eyebrows than I have. Okay. I'm looking at her picture, looking at mine, hers, mine, hers, mine. All right, I'm going to go into the black in my flat earth. And the black in the flat earth is a very black, but it's not as black as the black gold. And it doesn't have any shimmer. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to go right in that corner of my eye. All the way across. I'm just trying to really darken that smoky shadow. Oh yeah, that did it. There we go. Same with this one. The whole point is to get that smoky shadow. There we go. Feeling pretty good about it. I like it. I feel J-Lo-y. We're getting there. Okay. Now then, wipe this little guy off. All right, now let's look at her eyebrows. So her eyebrows they're very rounded and they're very kind of big to little, right? So I'm going to use my small accent brush because I feel like if I used an angle brush, it's just going to be too small for the size of her eyebrows. Now, she doesn't use a really dark brown. She uses more of the chestnut. So we're going to go kind of a color. So we're going to go back into the chestnut, give it a little blow off. Honestly, I think her brows are about as wide as this brush. So I'm just going to go whoop and see how it goes. Here we go. I feel like that might work out in a minute. Just sort of, I'm going to do a little on each eye. And I'm just going to do the front. I usually do like a top line, a bottom line. But I'm doing it differently just because I feel like this might work better for her look. She just has such distinctive and very drawn in. See, we're getting there. Eyebrows. And I'll use a little of the Flat Earth Black too with this to just darken up the spots where my brows are so much of a different color. All right, so now I'm going to use the top side of this brush because it's angled down this way. And I'm going to do down here. All right, now let's really look at her. She's very rounded. And like way more rounded than I am. All right, so I definitely went up too high. We'll wipe that off. I'm going to go down here. And it's like very round. I'm drawing a circle over here. I think hers are even. Well, let's thicken up the top a bit. Because she has very thick eyebrows. It's funny because I feel like my eyebrows are so thick and I look in the mirror and I'm like, nope, not even close. All right, up above. Going above. Here we go. We're doing it. Going crazy, crazy thick. I got me some eyebrows. I'm feeling J-Lo-y. So hers are kind of more big and blendy in. So I'm just going to come past mine a little bit and just lightly blend it in with makeup a little. A little bit more right there. There we go. I'm feeling pretty good about that. I think I could be rounder right in this corner because my eyes are just wider than hers this direction, I think. So to kind of close them in to match the shape of hers, I'm going to have to kind of just darken. Anytime you want something to look more closed off, you darken it. So you see, if I put a little bit more dark here, it'll start looking more like her eyebrows because you'll see that roundness more. You see how that made that much more round by comparison to the other side? There you go. I definitely need more right here, and I might need to put a little black there just to really, maybe a little. There we go. All right, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I think I like it. Don't ever be afraid to just keep trying. All right, other side. Now then, let's say she's got some eyebrows. And it's funny, you look at her and you don't think, wow, that's a lot of eyebrow. You just don't, right? She's beautiful. Nothing wrong with a lot of eyebrow. I just wouldn't have realized until I actually tried to do her makeup on my face. Like, wow, she got some eyebrows on her. Let's bring that out a little like we did before. It's always easier the second time. But even now I'm like, I feel like I'm putting it on dark, but I'm just like, nope, more. There a little more, here a little bit more. More. Did you guys realize she had like Brooke Shields-y eyebrows? I didn't realize it. All right, so now I am going to go into my, where'd it go, little tiny, here we go. Into our little brush that we used. Clean it off because it's got the works on it and that is very dark. And I'm going to go into back into my black Flat Earth. Okay. Blow it a lot. And just because my hair's, well, I'm going to wear a wig in a minute here, but just, I want it to look a little bit more even like hers. And my natural coloring doesn't quite match, and it's not covering up as well as I would like. So I'm just going to literally draw little tiny bits of kind of hair shape here. Just a few little extra kind of strands and a hair motion just to fill in so it looks more like hair. Because otherwise it's just going to look kind of fakey. And just a little more right there. Get that hair shape in. I have a bit of a scar right here, and it's always, you know how scars are always a little bit shinier, so I always feel like I have to get a little extra. Yeah, okay, so I'm noticing that this eye goes up more, and this eye is more square. Hers go up more. So the square eye, I'm going to take this little brush and just toss that up a bit. I'm just going to blend that up a little. It's got a little foundation on it. We'll just blend that up. It's always good to just check symmetry. Look and be like, am I symmetrical pretty much? Okay, good. All right, my eyebrows are sisters, not twins. That's good. I mostly have lips. We'll adjust it a little bit more. I'm going to add just a little pink in the blush. She has just a little bit of pinkness. We're going to go into that Delicate palette and use the Delicate Pink that is the non-shimmer. There we go. Oops, I just dropped it. There are two colors. If I had glasses on, I could tell you. And they are 1 and 2. And 1 is the solid and 2 is the shimmer. So we're going to go into our solid. Use our little blush brush. There we go. There it is. The blush brush. And these are conveniently sized for this. Blowing. So she really only has pink right here. So that's the only place we're going to put it. Just right up there. Like hers. And not too much. Just just a tiny little bit. There we go. Okay. Alrighty then. I feel like her nose, like my nose is still much broader than her nose. I mean, I know she's got a lot of makeup on and a very straight line right down the middle. So maybe we will take our angle brush. So now we're kind of in the fine tuning portion. Take my angle brush, I'm going to go back into that, try that 150, and I'm just going to make a little line. Now normally you would not need to be this precise. This is like photo shoot makeup, not real life makeup. And she obviously in this picture, so we have so many pictures and she looks quite a bit different in them. But in this picture, she's really skinnied up that bridge of her nose and made it very straight. Also, it's a photo, so it's probably retouched. And then I'm also going to go, whoop, there it is. Like, where'd it go? Go in there. I'm going to put a little bit more, and I'll blend this, of course, right out on the end of my nose. And I'll blend that in because her nose has that little dot that I do not own. Get that in there. There we go. All right, small blending brush. I'm going to use the very small blending brush. And I'm going to clean that a lot because if you're going to blend something on the end of your nose, Lord knows you do not want it to have any color left in it. That would be silly looking. All right, so just little circles. It's funny when you do this to your own face, it just looks silly because you're like, I got all these dark colors on my face, but this isn't going out on the town makeup. This is photo shoot makeup. This is like not every day. It's really the kind of thing you really specifically do for photos, honestly. There you go. I'm going to go around my little circle. My little brown nose. She has a little brown nose too, though, so it's okay. Clean, clean, clean. All right. All right, that needs powder, I think. So I'm going to go into my 140 powder and powder it. That's better because it just is too shiny. I feel so J-Lo. We'll powder over it. Don't worry, we're going to blend it all. All right. Now then, where's my powder brush? Boom, powder brush. So I'm going to blend all of this together a little bit more with some powder. So I'm going to use my 130 on my forehead because that's the base color we used, and just lightly in circles dust over that. Give it a nice blend. Blend it all together. Do the same thing down here. Now, a lot of people use a very light color right here. She doesn't appear to, so I'm not going to. She might use just a little right here, so I'm just going to do a little 110 powder right there. Just to match hers up a little bit, and a little right here. There we go. All right, I'll do a little of the 110 here. I don't want to cover up where she has the real shininess. And I'm going to give my nose a pretty good powder because I want to blend that a little. To me, it looks a little weird. I'm not used to having JLo's nose. We might work on it a little bit more. I think the big problem with me is that my nose is just squarer than her little round tippy nose. So we'll see. I might just not be able to get that exactly like JLo. It's okay. I'm not actually JLo, so it's all right. All right. Now, I think we're almost there. I am still torn about the lips. How do I make my lips look like JLo lips? She definitely has kind of a lip liner going, but it's not like lip liner. It's kind of blended out. I feel like if I now did kind of a browner lip liner, that might work. So I'm going to go into Autumn Velvet Kisses. I want to have hardly any on here. I'd rather do a few tries than have too much. All right, so I'm going just outside my lip line. Oh, and so she has a Cupid's bow for sure. So we want to make sure we have a nice triangle here. It's really popular to do flat lips right now, but she doesn't have flat lips, so we're not going to do it. Maybe. Right, and then underneath a little bit more. I feel like I'm just gonna have to keep practicing this forever until I figure out exactly how they do it. One thing I'm noticing is that like on hers, she doesn't have really much in the corner. It's much more just at the top, but at the bottom, it's kind of more around. Because as we saw in natural pictures of her, her lips aren't that big. Of course, plus retouching. And rub them together a little bit. I think it's getting better. So now I'm gonna go back into my Bear. Okay, you guys. Part of the problem the first time was I wasn't using Bear. I was accidentally using Ballet because I can't see anything. Now we're really gonna use Bear. And again, I'm just going to use a tiny little bit. Oh, that's better. I was wondering, I was like, why does this not look as nude as I remembered? Oh, because it's the wrong color. All right. And we're going to put a lot more gloss on in a minute. I feel like I'm getting there. The bottom lip is pretty close. The top lip just needs to be like blended out a little. I'm gonna use a Q-tip. Come down here. Kind of blend. I mean, this is why it takes these makeup artists hours, because it is a little exacting, right? All right. Bottom, hers is a little bit rounder than mine, but I can fix that. Top, let's see. More Cupid's bow. Okay, so let's put on a whole bunch more at night and get really shiny. It's quite the process. When this is over, I could be her hair and makeup artist. I'll know exactly what to do. Maybe I shouldn't do this. I don't even know how to make that face. There we go. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out before photos. All right, I think that there's probably need to do, just because we don't have the same shaped face. Where's my thing? Brushy clean. I'm going to put a little bit of highlighter. For my highlighter, I'm going to go back into my Delicate. See if this actually works. I'm going to put just a little, the very top here. Pick up some of that shine. And she's got a little in the middle. Oh yeah, I do think that really helps make it look a little bit fuller. Definitely, she has her Cupid's bow very highlighted. Yes, that is helpful. Like I said, it's just look for where the light and the dark is and just put it on there. Aha! We're getting there. Feeling good about it. Cool. All right. Lashes. So she's got different lashes on all her pictures. I'm going to go with our lashes that are in our Makeup Fix this month, Flutter. These are beautiful. The ones that she's wearing here are longer than these, and that's saying something. So these are Flutter lashes. They're super pretty, and they're pretty long. So obviously the first thing we need to do is put on our liner. So I'm just going to stack right over my bold so I don't have to take them off. So I'm using our USA liner. We're going to talk more about this, our Made in the USA liner. We call it gold liner because it's in a gold bottle. We're going to talk more about this liner right after this, actually. Since it has a newer applicator, I'm going to kind of go over how to best use it. It's a little different. Let's see. I'm going to put a couple coats on. I was like that noise. Can't say I've ever stacked magnetic over adhesive before. So we're going to learn a new thing today. We'll see how this works. Let's see why it wouldn't. It should be fine. All right, so we'll let that dry. I'll put on another coat. And while we're letting it dry, we're going to give these guys a little trim. Okay, so we're going to trim these from the inside because these are cat eyes, so they're smaller on the inside and bigger on the outside. She has big lashes on, so we want to keep the length. We'll do the other one. I'm doing 2 because I always do 2 magnets off because that's the size of my eyes. You can totally trim your lashes any size you want. All right, another coat of liner. Bob's going to freak out. Bob's my husband, if you don't know. And he's also the president and co-founder of Tori Bell. And he is going to freak out when he sees me in the J-Lo thing. Because what you haven't seen yet is the wig. The makeup's a lot, but he's used to seeing me in a lot of makeup. J-Lo wig, totally different story. Right. So you guys, when you're putting your liner on, it is important that you put enough on because this is the magnetic surface that your lashes are attaching to. I know a lot of people are just like trying to put the tiniest little bit on. It's like, that is not going to work. You got to actually wear some liner. That's important. All right, give that a second. I'm going to flip my mirror over and take a good look here. See if I see anything that's like really just not right, missing. I feel like I'm pretty much as J-Lo as I'm going to get right now. All right, so let's let that dry. While we're letting it dry, let's talk about, because I said we're going to talk about our gold liner. Let's do it. Oops, that's fine. All right, I have a few gold liners here. The one that I put on just now and these other 3 were returned because the person that purchased them thought that they were defective because they had only ever used our old gold liner, which came with a brush instead of a silicone tip. So when I saw that, I realized that obviously we need to do a little training so that people understand that a brush and the tip aren't the same thing. So an applicator tip just is used differently. So for example, if this were a brush, you would take it straight out like that, and most of the product would be at this very tip. but this is an applicator, so it's a very pointy little guy, and it is not a brush, so the product isn't going to flow down into it. So if you just use this tip, you're going to get a very, very light line. It's going to feel like there's nothing on it. However, if you push down, you'll see it's perfectly fine. So the other difference is when you take this out, you don't pull it straight out like you would the classic liner. You give it a little twirl and then you pull it straight out, a little stir. And then you'll see it's even darker. So what you want to do is make sure that you are not using just the very tip of it, but the whole triangle. The tip's in a triangle. Just like that. Okay. And you guys just saw me put it on. So another little difference is that when you put something on with a brush, any texture in the product is going to get brushed out. When you put something on that has a tip, let me see if I can get a little bubble on here or anything. Well, no, not really. But if you put, it's not abnormal for makeup like mascara or eyeliner to have a little bit of texture to it. It's not clumpy. It's kind of almost like gelatinous. Like if you were to stir up Jell-O, but then if you ran a brush through it, it smooths out, right? Well, this is kind of the same thing. It's got a bit of a gelatinous texture. So if you have a little bubble that goes on, just flatten it out. It's not chalky or anything. It just has a little texture because it's a thicker product. So I wanted to make sure I go over that with everybody. So I'm gonna open all of these other ones and show you guys. Give it a little twirl. Oh, see, can you see that one has a little extra on the end? So if I go like this, go through it, you can see it's not a clump. It's just a little drop. Okay, those two. But obviously, see, that guy's in good shape. But the really important thing, you give it a little swirl and you use the whole applicator, not just the tip. Whereas with a brush, it's very different. You're going to use mostly just the tip. Okay. Go over there because that's where I'm. See? Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing because I know I'm really up close here. Don't look there so you can see. Anyway, so I just wanted to show you guys proper use. And we're going to go over this with all the leaders, and the leaders will make sure you guys all know. But I had a couple people freak out because they thought when they got the new tips that there was something wrong with the eyeliner. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that it's used differently. And I'm sorry that we didn't get that across very well apparently before, but it's fine. It's like it's a learning curve. You know, whenever anything changes, there's a learning curve. All right, so let's put lashes on. So I'm kind of curious about this whole putting these over an adhesive lash. That seems fine. There we go. I feel like these aren't as wispy as the one she has on, but in some of her other pictures, she has wispier one, or less wispy on, so I think anything's fine. Where did I do the other lash? There it is. Found it. All right, let's put this guy on. Well, okay, it's going right there. That's where it wants to be. I agree then. It's kind of funny with that other lash under it because I have it both adhesive and not adhesive on, but that's fine. Okay, guys, one thing we can't forget is our neck. So I'm, obviously more contoured and darker in the face, so I need to darken up my neck. So I'm going to go back into our new 165 bronzer, put on our larger brush here, and I think I'm going to start right here. I'm not going to do right in the middle yet, and then I'll go around. Because you don't want to have it like super dark in the middle. It's kind of like not a natural spot. Now we also can contour our clavicles, except where you can't see it yet. So we'll do that after. And we can contour our clavicles. Make sure you get just under your shirt because, turn that. If you don't get just under your shirt, you'll have a weird line. And it doesn't take a ton of bronzer to blend in. I mean, just a little really does go a long way. There we go. Now I just need my wig. What do you guys think? Am I J-Lo? Okay, everybody, we have done the pro tip. This is going to be a short wrestle live because that took forever, but that is okay because J-Lo's makeup artists take longer than that. So I will be your hostess, J-Lo, for the next few minutes. All right, let's go straight to product launches. We have our February lash of the month is Love Spell, which is beautiful fluffy lash. And that is for February. And then you guys saw our delicate palette that we have for sale now that has the two different really pretty colors of pinks, the shimmer and the matte. And then we have the Flutter lashes. So you can flutter your lashes at your Valentine. I was like, what are they called? Oh yes, Valentines. All right. And February recognition charm bracelets are online. And so if you're an affiliate, we have those online. And then you can also still get last month's until the end of this month. Oh, we had a correction. We had a boo-boo. Last week when we announced our winners, we showed the wrong photo for one person. And I'm so sorry. The winner was Sherry Wise. And this is Sherry. And congratulations, Sherry, you won. Okay, now we have our weekly live giveaway winners. They each won our new Elements powder foundation bronzer and a 3x3 clutch. We have Stomp the Zero winners. Okay, let's look at them. Eddie, why don't you do it for once? You say their names.
The Stomp the Zero winners this month are Gia Devlin, Sierra Hardaway, and Shrenta Hewlett. Congratulations.
Thanks, Eddie. I like to put him on the spot now and then. All right, we have our January Hope Heroes. Please help us celebrate our Prosperity Heroes for January, and they are backstage and on all of our social media. And next month we have Growth Mindset, so we will have a Growth Mindset hero. What? This month. This month. And this month we will do that. Okay, speaking of months, it is Black History Month, and we have an amazing woman to celebrate this month. And I'm going to read this to you because I don't want to miss anything up. So, her name is Shirley Ann Jackson. Shirley Ann Jackson is a history-making physicist and Rutgers University president, and she was born in 1946 in Washington, D.C. The space race of the 50s really interested her, and she was among the first Black American students to attend MIT. And she was, I know without reading this, the first person who was a Black American to get a doctorate from MIT, which is amazing. She is responsible for monumental telecommunications research, and that led to the invention of products such as the touch-tone phone and portable fax and fiber optic cables and caller ID. Basically, your life would be entirely different without her. President Barack Obama named her co-chair of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board, and Sylvester Gates, a physicist at Brown University who was considered Jackson's mentor at MIT, explains that it is nearly impossible to understand the full sweep of Shirley's career. From academia to government to business, she's been extraordinarily successful in all realms. She also has a magnificent ability to understand organizations and how to be effective in them. She's always been a cool head in the group. Shirley Ann Jackson is a remarkable woman of vision, strength, character, and resilience, paving the way for us to know no matter what the obstacle is, we can overcome it. So thank you so much, Shirley Ann Jackson, for doing everything you did for everybody, and congratulations on Black History Month. Let me remind everybody, we have our USASF scholarship fundraiser, and that is where, let me tell you, for every $55 US purchased through our scholarship link, Tori Bell Cosmetics donates $1 to USASF, and that is professional cheer. And they are donating that to athletes all over the United States, both male and female. We have our Tori Bell's Got Talent coming up, so do not forget, this is the very last weekend that you can submit your talents. So on the 7th, that is the very last day. So pretty please submit your talents. We would love to have a ton of talents. We have a lot of really talented affiliates. So you guys get those in. And we've also kicked off our charity event and donation prizes. So you guys can get all of the information on that on our Facebook page. There's on the right-hand side. That's the left. On the left-hand side, there's a link. I'm always bad at that. That is my left, yes. My ring's on it. So on the left-hand side, would you push the little, 3 lines. There's the link. You click there, and that takes you to the page, and everything you need to know is there. If you're an affiliate, it's also in your backstage. It's going to be on our Facebook pages, all our social media. You will not have a hard time finding it. So go check that out so you guys can get all signed up for our charity event and get ready to win prizes and donate. Okay. Ooh, we also have a behind the scenes. So we're doing a little 5-minute interview on what's going on with Tori Bell's Got Talent every Friday at 3 on the cosmetics page. So check that out. And our swag item of the week is our Tori Bell t-shirts. Let me kind of get taller. There we go. And those are $20. There's all sorts of different ones. And then also our customizable hoodies. So you guys go check those out. February hit and win. This is huge. Okay. If you have 150 QV, you get a headband and a scrunchie, but that QV has to be in Elements products. So that is the blushes or the foundations or the concealers or the powders. So any of our Element foundations, if you have $150 in qualifying value, you get a scrunchie and a headband. But if you get $250 in qualifying volume, you get 2,500 travel points for a trip to Punta Cana. So hit and win, get on that. Last thing, I'll let you guys go. We have our call to action. Our call to action is post your before and after pictures with any Tori Bell products. We want all of them. And you might find yourself on our playbill or on our advertising, our Instagram or our Facebook. So post your before and afters. Okay, guys, I know that was a quick ending. I will talk to you later. We'll see you next Thursday. Bye.